And starting us off is Michael, who's head of philosophy at the University of Liverpool. Is that correct? Amazing. So I will get your slides up and then we can get going.
Right, so post-mortality for all, if you're not familiar with the term post-mortality, it means you don't have to die anymore, right? Whereas immortality would mean you cannot die, which is impossible. But post-mortality might be possible. Now we have dreamed of that for a long time. There are ancient myths talking about immortality, living forever, staying forever young. This is a fountain of youth. Donald Duck tried it out. And of course, it didn't go according to plan. He's much younger than expected. Today, we don't need myths. We have science trying to figure out what causes aging, what we can do about it, how it can be stopped, how it can be possibly be reversed. And since this is a biological problem, there is a real chance that science will figure it out. In 1998, Ben Bova wrote a book on immortality 20 years ago, saying physical immortality is within sight. There are people living today who might live forever, right? 1998, today, 20 years later, there are biogerontologists working on the problem. They would think we can figure it out. Who knows, perhaps in 30 years' time, we will finally have figured it out. And then, perhaps, all of us who are still around at the time, might not have to die anymore, at least not as a part of the natural process of aging. Right? How would that be like, right? Would it be a good thing? Would it be a bad thing? Well, you might say it's a good thing because life is good, so more life is also a good thing. Also, you won't have to lose people to death. And there are lots of things that you might be able to do that you cannot do now because you just don't have the time for it. However, there are also negative sides, right? If you think about death, you might not like it and think, no, I don't want it. But from that, it doesn't follow that you want to live forever, because forever is a very long time, and it might have its own horrors if you think of that. Also, you might get bored, not only by the stuff you do, you have done everything, have seen everything, but also bored by yourself, right? Because you're stuck with yourself in a certain way. And you might say, well, you can always kill yourself, right? So you have nothing lost. But is that something we want, that suicide is actually the only way out, which is not perhaps the right thing to have? Also, if you have to end your life deliberately, then what is lost is a certain shape of life, a certain narrative, right? You have a rise, you have a decline, and lives come to an end. There's a certain beauty and a certain rightness to this. Also, the fear of death might actually rise. Now we can always tell ourselves, well, we have to die anyway, at some stage, right? We might want to postpone it as long as possible, but we know it's going to happen. Then it might not happen. There's no space for new people either. We will occupy all the roles, and new people would have no place whatsoever. Then, of course, there's the problem of overpopulation. Right? We have got enough people already to get more and more. If no one dies anymore, then this will only increase the problem. So you might say, well, we can deal with that, right? We just don't have any children anymore. But is that a consequence that we want? No longer have children? How would the world look like without children? Right? Some might say it's great, we don't need them. Others might say there's a loss here, right? But it might be even worse than that, because governments might decide, well, we cannot cope with children anymore, so we just prohibit children, right? Or you have to agree that you get killed if you have children. Some philosophers have actually suggested that. John Harris from Manchester talked about generational cleansing. And there's finally the problem of evil, which also becomes immortal then, and we might not get rid of certain people who are in power, right? So death also has its good sides. Death is not necessarily bad for us, for the one who dies, and other people's death is not bad for us. On the contrary, it often is very good for us. So I think we need to acknowledge that we are beings who live in time, and that living in time is actually a good thing, not something that we should try to overcome as much as possible. So, thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Michael.